My wife, Clara, stood in the shower, hair lathered and face half covered in foam, when the water cut off, not slowed, but stopped dead. Her scream echoed through our Cedar Hollow, Montana, home, sharp enough to sound like the roof was collapsing. I bolted upstairs, expecting a giant spider, only to find her slipping on wet tiles, eyes stinging with soap, yelling that no water flowed. Shower, kitchen sink, bathroom faucet, even the garden hose, all dry as dust. Thinking it was a plumbing failure, I rushed to the front yard and found the real issue. Our water line, surgically severed, with a bright orange notice stake beside it. Unauthorized water access terminated by HOA directive. That's when I knew the Silver Pines HOA had ignited a storm they couldn't weather. They didn't know the lake feeding their entire water supply, the one they'd pumped from for years, claiming as community property, wasn't theirs. It was mine, every drop. Drop a comment. Where are you reading this? Here's how I turned an HOA's reckless sabotage into a lesson they'd never forget. The absurdity hit as I crouched by the broken pipe. We owed no fees, weren't stealing water, and never needed HOA approval. Marlene Baxter, Silver Pines HOA president, had launched a crusade against violations, fining neighbors for mismatched curtains, garden gnomes, and a trampoline, styling herself as Oak Ridge Estates sheriff in a neighborhood of 40 homes and one cafe. Cutting our water, without notice, was a bold escalation. I marched to the HOA office, a converted garage in Marlene's beige Maple Lane house, reeking of potpourri and arrogance. Behind a desk cluttered with laminated HOA charters, she sipped tea like suburban royalty. I didn't knock. Her smirk soured as I said they'd cut my line. She nodded, as if checking off a chore, sliding over a satellite image of the pipe from my property to the neighborhood's distribution point, calling it unauthorized. I asked if she'd checked Willow Creek water rights. Her smile flickered, then snapped back. No need, she said. Beyond HOA, lots is communal. Connections need board approval. I leaned in. Marlene, your community drinks from my lake. You cut the line to the house owning its source. Hope your roses like drought. She scoffed, waving me off. I left without another word. She'd learn I wasn't bluffing. At home, I pulled files from my safe. Years ago, I'd bought land including a useless pond, a natural lake with a deep aquifer. The HOA, dodging municipal costs, had quietly pumped from it for years. I never charged or complained, as my separate access was unaffected, until now. My lawyer, Elliot Hayes, confirmed my deed and easement predated the HOA, granting me sole water rights and authority to restrict access if violated, which Marlene Stun had done. I visited the lake's valve station, a fenced nook off Cedar Park, where HOA pumps connected. Holding the master key, I imagined shutting it off but held back. Timing was key. Marlene gloated online, posting a selfie by my broken pipe. No more freeloaders. HOA fights water theft. Comments mixed applause with confusion. Most didn't know their water tied to my lake. I posted my deed's high-res scan, captioned, "Funny thing about lakes. When you own them, you decide who drinks." It went viral in Oak Ridge Estates within minutes. Calls flooded in, neighbors verifying my ownership, some angry at Marlene, others fearing water loss. I assured them I wouldn't cut access yet, but demanded the HOA fix my pipe and apologize within 24 hours, or I'd reconsider. Marlene accused me of blackmail, vowing to report me to Willow Creek authorities. I offered Elliot's number. She declined. Sipping wine on my porch overlooking the moonlit lake, Clara asked my plan. It started, I said. They'll throw a party needing water. Let them light the stage, then I'll pull the plug when they're brightest. Marlene had no idea the fuse was lit. The next morning, the neighborhood buzzed. Residents paused by our severed pipe, Marlene's orange stake a monument to folly. My inbox swelled with questions about the lake. I let the deed speak. Marlene's silence in the app faltered as her narrative frayed. I met Nathan Reed, a county civil engineer friend, over coffee, sliding him my deed. He whistled, noting the HOA's pump station sat on my land, violating environmental codes, a bonus. You can shut it off, he said. The county won't stop you unless it's an emergency. At the valve station, I held the brass key, tempted, but waited for the perfect moment. Marlene's next move was a summer kickoff party announcement. Food trucks, water balloon fights, dunk tanks, and inflatable slides, all water-dependent. I nearly choked. It was perfect. Friday night, I set a remote timer at the control box to close the valve at 1 p.m. Saturday, halting non-emergency water, sprinklers, spigots, secondary plumbing, while preserving critical flow. Saturday's heat fueled the bash. From my lawn chair, lemonade in hand, I watched cars flood Cedar Park. Kids wielded pool noodles, slides towered. Marlene strutted, directing the DJ and food trucks. Neighbors waved hesitantly, unsure of my role. At 1 p.m., I tapped my phone. Sputtering began. Dunk tanks stalled, slide jets died, balloons ran dry. Kids wailed, sticking to hot vinyl. The DJ's mic cut as cooling fans stopped. Texts buzzed about dry sinks and toilets. Marlene's triumph turned to panic as she darted from dunk tank to slide, facing demands. I strolled over, calmly announcing, "The water's off, legally, by the lake's owner." Holding my laminated deed, I offered restoration if the HOA fixed my pipe, apologized, and acknowledged my ownership publicly within 24 hours. Silence fell. A gasp echoed. Marlene's mouth worked soundlessly. A man yelled, "Get Marlene out before we're a desert." I returned to my porch, waiting. Sunday dawned quiet, no sprinklers, no kids' laughter. The HOA app erupted, calls for Marlene's resignation, fears of boiling rainwater. Marlene claimed I'd forged my deed, but county records backed me. Sheriff's Deputy Tom Larson called, laughing. Marlene had demanded my arrest for endangering utilities. The sheriff, with my easement termination clause, warned her of charges for tampering. She stormed out, ranting about the governor. That night, my lake cameras caught Todd Baxter, Marlene's brother-in-law, sneaking to the valve with bolt cutters. I called Tom, who caught him mid-act. Todd claimed he acted alone, but admitted Marlene's urging. Tom warned Marlene. Footage leaked online, captioned, "HOA sabotage caught." Local news ran lake owner locks out HOA, and Marlene's closed-door meeting failed as board members demanded transparency. I attended the open Cedar Lane Community Hall meeting, packed with tense residents. Marlene, rattled, preached unity, accusing me of hoarding water. I took the mic, reading the county's ownership letter, violation codes, and projecting Todd's sabotage footage. Laughter erupted, dissolving Marlene's power. A motion to oust her passed overwhelmingly. She left silently, clipboard in hand. Helena Walsh, interim president, apologized, offered to fix the pipe, and asked to restore water. I agreed, reopening the valve that night, but demanded a new agreement recognizing my lake's ownership and usage terms. Helena complied instantly. By evening, water flowed. Sprinklers clicked, hoses sputtered, kids cheered. News vans swarmed, residents lauding accountability. Marlene's dunk tank scowl became a meme. When you cut the pipe, but forget the lake's owner. The HOA's apology letter admitted fault, promising reforms. I framed it. Marlene went silent, but her lawyer's defamation suit, claiming I humiliated her, fizzled when Elliot countered with evidence. Todd pleaded guilty to trespass, fined heavily. At a town hall, I explained the saga, stressing unchecked power's dangers, earning nods and apologies. A water agreement ensured clarity, and I built a fountain by the HOA office, its plaque reading, "Water is a shared gift. Respect the source." 3 weeks later, a postcard arrived. "Enjoy your lake, Lord of the Pipes. I've moved where people know who's in charge." Marlene had fled to a stricter HOA, losing her board bid. I skimmed a pebble across my lake, smiling. She thought it was about control, it was about responsibility. Oak Ridge Estates thrived, green lawns, free kids, a community reborn. I hosted lake cleanups, turning the water into pride. A regional HOA conference invited me to speak. My tale of pipes and parties inspired reform. A kid's sign, Peace Lake, "Take only what you need," summed it up. I didn't just win. I built a legacy of respect, one drop at a time.